I hear you, baby.
Talking.
Talk to me.
All right now.
Watch out.
Hey.
Say, well, baby.
My name is Hercules Chico Butler. I am 86 years of age. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do none of that. So when I go out dancing, that's my medication.
I'm gonna pack up my suitcase and down the road I go.
When I go out and dance, I relieve a lot of mental pressure. I relieve a lot of anxiety. And when you give me a high five or you give me a compliment, that helps me overcome the obstacles that I suffer with. They say, oh, Chico, we like the way you dance. Can I dance with you? Or I like the way you dress. I dress this way because I don't want to be like everybody else. I done went through something. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen.
I could not have survived going through what he has gone through since the 50s. I would have gave up a long time ago. The man has been kicked for 50 years, 60 years, and he's an upbeat, enthusiastic, positive individual, and he's fun to be around. Chico called me kind of out of the blue. I went over to his house, and he gave me big stacks of paper that he had saved from this long, arduous fight with the VA. I was there for hours, and I said, yeah, I'll take your case.
I was born in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Eventually, my mother migrated north. That's how I wound up in Coatesville. My mother came and got me. And I started going to school in Coatesville in 44, 45. And there was a big steel mill, Lucan steel mill, and all the blacks worked in the steel mill. And it was a nice city. And I knew everybody in that neighborhood. We always had something to do, and there's always accountability. And if you did anything wrong, your mother got the word about it, and she whipped your butt. And then the Korean War broke out, and they were drafting all these blacks, and all my buddies was going into the service. I said, look, Chico, man, we ain't gonna wait for the draft, man, because everybody's gone. So we're gonna go and join them when we're gonna join the Army. I went to the Army in July of 51, and I was shipped off to Korea in December of 51. I was only 19 years old.
Chico was in combat in Korea. He was one of the first blacks in an integrated outfit. Now, he was wounded in Korea. He had a shrapnel injury. 3 times they pulled him out of combat because of what they call nervous anxiety. But he's a black soldier, and it's the era of Jim Crow. So they send him back to the United States, and they don't care about him.
I have a CIB. That's a combat infantry band. That means you wasn't sitting around peeling potatoes. You wasn't looking slick. That means you was slick up there dodging bullets like everybody else. I was in Korea. I was a hero. But I came back, I was a zero. Honey, I come back. Honey, I show.
26.
How much?
26.
26?
Yes.
What part of Korea you from?
I'm just in Incheon.
You from Incheon?
Yeah.
Oh! We did Infinite Landing in Incheon. Yeah. That was in Incheon, Pyongyang, North Korea, across the Han River into the North Korea. And Uijeonbu. Busan, Daegu. See, he know what I'm talking about. Yeah, come up, Samida. Heck of a man. All right, you have a nice day. Thanks for everything. All right, good. Take care. Yes, sir. Y'all take care. Yeah? I'm still a little shy of even telling people I had 3 nervous breakdowns and suffered PTSD. I was hospitalized in Korea. They only know is I dance and I'm a hell of a nice guy. Give me 5.
High five.
Can you dance with me? Come on,
Chico is the smoothest brother in the city of
Keep
Pittsburgh.
on. I'm getting excited about it.
Hands down. Even if you don't know his name, you just wave because you always see him out everywhere.
Yes,
so,
yes,
yeah,
yes. Hey, Lorraine,
Yeah.
how you doing, baby?
Yeah,
I ain't seen that sister in God knows when, baby. Now, listen, can you still? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a dancing machine.
Right, Cedar's another one.
Thank you for the compliment, baby.
I like always.
You look better than my dad.
Oh, hey, oh,
don't you get me in no trouble with your dad. Now, come on, somebody.
They gave me this at a cabaret, Rose's Lounge, 9th Annual Cabaret, Best Dressed Male. And they had honored me as the best dressed at the cabarets. And that's where I got this one. This was a brochure here that I put together myself. And in here is everything you want. And there's my 214, right here's my 214, discharge. And all these is about anxiety reaction, which is PTSD. And all the diagnoses in this. After fighting a career, I was shipped back to the United States, and I was having these flashbacks. And if it was not for my mother, I would be dead in my grave. Trust me. Upon my discharge, my mother had to come to the war post in Fort Hamilton, New York. Her instruction was to take me straight to the Veterans Hospital in Coatesville, Pennsylvania. So my mother took me to the VA. With my medical records, she filed for service connection disability. And they told my mother that my condition was pre-existed.
The idea that he had this condition before he went into the service is ludicrous, because if he had that condition, they would have disqualified him from the service. Now, if they turned me down just because of my eyes, they definitely would have turned him down if he had some type of anxiety condition. But they took him because he was a healthy young man.
This is the government statutes passed by Congress about veterans law and the regulations. And a veteran is presumed to know all this, even though it's a supposedly non-adversarial system. So Chico goes to the VA for help and doesn't get any. And then he has these other legal problems. There is no way that he was ever involved in those issues. He was pretty much framed.
I'm stumbling and falling down in the street and ducking and hiding like I'm still in the military. And one day they picked me up, snatched me off the street. They told me that I was involved with a murder and I had committed a robbery. It was impossible for me to have committed a robbery or a murder. But they fingered me. They took me to a magistrate. I had no attorney at the magistrate office. I had no attorney at my indictment. They don't doggone well to know that something was wrong somewhere. It was something wrong with me, or it's something wrong with the system.
Oh, you can go home. All you got to do is say this and you can go home. This is a pattern. This is something that they did and do to young black men, and then they go to jail for life.
This is where I looked when the police got done with me. I did 15 years in prison. I went to jail in 1956 and came out in 1972. I've been on parole since 1972 and I'm still on parole.
Chico, you are the man.
How you doing, bro?
I just had to shake your hand because I don't know. And I will buy your book and read it.
My book is about how to treat black veterans and how to treat black men in the criminal justice.
I will read it because see, you're in the community.
Yes,
you know,
I
so
appreciate that. You tell Sonny, because Sonny's my manager.
If I read it and I'm disappointed, I'm even mad at you.
Hey, Sonny, every black person in America should read my book, How This Guy Survived.
I've been there with you, man. They stomped me to death at Westmoreland County, man, to where as though I was unconscious.
There's a lot of Chicos in the world. There's a lot of people that just get herded into this penal system.
Yeah.
And
forget
you're
about
stuck there.
And forget that.
Once you're there, it's so hard to get out. You can't afford a good attorney because we come from the ghetto.
Right.
So we don't have that.
We don't,
You know,
we're left
they
there.
force us into taking plea bargains. You know, they give you this big number. You're going to do 50 years or take this 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
What sounds better to you? Fight against 50
Fight or flight.
walk with 10.
I can relate to what he's talking about. You have a story.
Yeah.
He has a story. I got a story. All of God's children got a story.
That's right.
All right, can I get a witness in there?
Hey, man.
Yeah, man.
I didn't find myself until 1980. When I was released from prison, I thought I was released from the prisoner war camp. The VA was handling my case, and the psychiatrist sent me to inpatient. Say, yo, you got to go to the hospital, because, man, you in bad shape. At the hospital, where they sent me, there was a lot of veterans up there who went through the same thing I went through, and that's when I began to come around. It was after I got out of the hospital in about 1983. I said, let me buy a suit. Nobody wear these suits but me.
Now, some of you guys might know about this.
Ready to roll, baby.
You know when you're
And I was out one day, went to a cabaret, and they had this DJ, and people was dancing. I would dance right back with them. They said, man, you can really dance. I said, yeah. And when they gave me a compliment, that's my pill. That's my medication. He's a nice guy, man. He'll stop and talk to you, and he's down to earth. That's what the people say, because my light is shining, and my mother gave me that light.
His mother stood by him all the way. There was no doubt in her mind that he had a condition that came from the service. There was no doubt in her mind that he was innocent of that which he was accused. And there was no doubt in her mind that God will take care of it.
This is my mother, the lady who brought me in this world and taught me the golden rule as a kid. And she stuck by me. And this is the letter that my mother had written. And she says, my name is Maddie Wolf. I reside at 760
Coat Street, Coatesville, Pennsylvania, 19320. I'm writing this in regards to my son, Hercules Butler. There is no doubt in my mind that when my son enlisted in the armed forces, he did not have any physical or mental impairments. He was a well-disciplined young man at home and in school. He had good spiritual values because he was brought up in the church. His social activities were dating, dancing and basketball, baseball, and track. These are the memories I have of my son. But upon his release from the Army in 1954, I did not know this person who was supposedly my son. He could not sit still, nor sit down and relax. He seemed to be a bundle of nerves. I am still wondering what happened to my son in the Army. I remember that he went to the VA hospital, but they wouldn't give him any help. About 18 months after my son came home from Korea, he was arrested and charged with a murder. They held him so I couldn't see him for 6 days. He didn't have a lawyer or anything. They finally broke him down and made him confess to a crime that he didn't commit. He told me that those police made him feel like he was back in Korea and being held prisoner by the North Koreans. I only wish my son could have received the help he needed when he came home. He surely was a troubled young man when he came back to me from Korea.
Signs, Maddie Wolf. This is my mother. That's why I fight so hard, because she stood by me and she tried her best. Son, do the best you can, and God will take care of the rest. And let your light shine. God give me the gift to dance, dress different, smile different, and give somebody some inspiration to feel good about themselves. Thank you, Mother. You will be smiling from your grave, because I did not give up.
start, you guys. Come on in, watch me do my thing. Come on in there and see me kick it.
Come on. I hear you, baby. Talk to me. Watch out. Say, well, baby, you don't have to go.
What we're doing is trying to go back in time and saying the VA back in 1956 committed clear and unmistakable error. That's one of the hardest things to prove. We drafted a motion this thick, and that took several months. The Board of Veterans' Appeals, for that argument, came out with a decision saying that because he had filed all these claims over the years and had several appeals, that first decision, which I was attacking, was subsumed into a Board of Veterans' Appeals decision that was in 1970. So I refiled, claiming clear unmistakable error for the 1970 decision. And that's where we sit today. And we sit, and we sit, and we wait, and we wait.
The word on the street is the Dutch administration hoped we would die before we get our benefits. Well, I said, I'll be damned if I die before I get my story out, because there's a lot of veterans out there that is homeless or shouldn't be out there in the street in the first place. The United States government should be taking care of these veterans. And being black, help me somebody.
It's long overdue. It's long overdue. Chico represents a whole line of veterans that have given up. His being able to win this would be the victory that all those men over there fought for. I just want him to be victorious for all of us.
Two things I would wish to see for Chico in terms of justice. One is for the Veterans Administration to admit that they were wrong in 1956 to deny him service connection for a nervous anxiety disorder, which now we know is PTSD. And secondly, is to overturn his conviction in state court. Those are the two things that I would like to see for Chico.
You know, I'm having such a good life that nobody believes my story. Let the world see the real Chico Butler, what he's went through, because nobody really knows the trouble I've seen. So what I'm doing is, my light's shining and it shines on other people. It all comes back to my mother. Let your light shine and God will take care of you. And I feel free here in Pittsburgh because I got a lot of friends and my light is shining. I feel good. I ain't Jan Brown, but I feel good.
Only got a red hat. Oh, I should have got that hat. Oh, wow.
Oh, I'm Sam. I'm owner of Sam's Shoes in East Liberty. My father had a store up the street. He used to come in and buy shoes from us. We kept them looking this dapper.
Yes, and look, check out all them shoes in here.
Know this man forever, Cat Daddy, man. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just wait, he got a show for y'all later. Yeah.
He's a manager. He got to tell me when to say. Thanks a lot. This is where we going, right here.
I've known Chico about 35 years. He's one of my best friends. I also consider him like a father to me.
Chico has always kept me up to date with his story and his struggles with trying to get what he deserves from the VA.
He's a veteran also. He was a great inspiration to me as a man coming in here and still pushing on.
I'll see you later. God bless you.
Yeah, baby. God bless you too. Yeah, I ain't trying to take nobody home, and I don't want no phone numbers either. Shit. I guess that every day.
I hope I look that good when I get your age.
Yo, hey, listen, you look good anyway. Don't worry about how old. Hey, I tell you, I wasn't ready for that one. I wasn't ready for that.
Anything I say, it has to be good about Chico. Everybody knows Chico, and I hope justice for him accomplished.